Hello everyone, welcome to Barca News. It is September 29th, 2025, and we have a Camp Nou update with some unrest within the board of directors in regards to the return deadlines. Also, Robert Lewandowski achieving a historical feat with his goal against Real Sociedad. And finally, we have new talent alert within Barcelona's academy. We're going to tell you who it is. Have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo. We'll begin this video by discussing the Spotify Camp Nou because one of Barcelona's vice presidents, Antonio Escudero, has made some controversial statements. But before we discuss the statements, let's recap what's going on with the Camp Nou because Barcelona have finished construction on the Phase 1A sections, which are Gol Sud and also Tribuna. It's one of the lateral stands, which is going to house, those two sections together, going to house 27,000 people. Barcelona finished the construction on them, turned over the certificate of completion to the city. The city sent its inspectors, but then they found some damage from some rainstorms that Barcelona had undergone. And as a result, the city denied the license, told Barcelona, here's a list of things you need to fix. Go back and fix them. Barcelona fixed them, submitted the certificate again to the city. The city again sent it to inspectors, but this time the police and firefighters said no because there was some concerns with safety, more specifically the evacuation route. So the license has been denied a second time. And once again, the city have given Barcelona a list of things they need to fix. And this time around, Barcelona expect that they could be back to the Camp Nou by October 18th, which is after the second FIFA international break, which would be the match against Girona. That's when Barcelona are hoping to return. And of course, when I announced that news of the second permit being denied or the second attempt being denied, I told you, be careful with the people out there who are going to try to sell you some conspiracy theory that somehow the city is out to get Barcelona and this is why there are delays. The delays are, well, the fault of the construction company, the fault of the club. This is not the fault of the city. The city, all they have to do is inspect, make sure everything's up to code. If it is, you get your license. If it's not, you don't get your license. It's pretty simple. And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. A lot of people out there on social media started selling these conspiracy theories that, oh, the city just wants to, they want to make sure Laporta doesn't get reelected because they have beef against him. Someone was saying that, oh, Victor Fon, the candidate, his son works for the city. So it's Victor Fon trying to sabotage Laporta. Someone else was saying, oh, no, it's the city. They want Barcelona to keep renting the Olympic Stadium because, they want to make money. That's exactly what happened. Because unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there who, they cannot accept disappointment, so they always have to make up something to excuse their disappointment, kind of like how Madrid, instead of accepting that they lost because they suck, well, it's the referees, it's Negreira. Well, in Barcelona camp, unfortunately, there's people also like that who simply cannot accept, hey, the stadium is delayed because it's delayed, because things are not being done correctly. No, they have to come up with some kind of conspiracy. Oh, it's the city, it's this, it's that, it's the planet's alignment, rather than accepting the reality. Well, now that we've recapped, let's talk about Antonio Escudero, who's one of the vice presidents of Barcelona. He's the vice president of social area because he has made some interesting statements. And these are the statements he has made. And we're talk about why his statements are related to what we just talked about, this whole conspiracy theories. Now, Antonio Escudero said promises have been made that did not fit with reality and the programs of the works. The first one who wanted to return were those from the board. I was in favor of staying in Montjuic, but there were some people involved, not on the board, but technicians who calculate these things who were wrong. The only one who was right and who got it right was me. Of course, the guy has to pat himself on the back, but nonetheless. From the outset, I said that what we were saying about going to Camp Nou was impossible. So here they go, Antonio Escudero telling you, hey, the dates for the return to the Camp Nou were impossible from day one. And it's people within the club, he's saying not on the board, but those who are responsible for calculating the return dates, they were wrong. Now, what does this have to do with all the spiel I gave you? Well, here's one of the vice presidents of Barcelona telling you the reason why we're not back at the Camp Nou is because the calculations were done wrong from the first time, right? We're going to go back in November of 2024, then December, then February, then April, then May, then August, then September. Now it's October. So in other words, the city is not responsible for this. And this is why I'm telling you, it's very important to be careful what kind of information you get exposed to out there, because unfortunately people are out there trying to sell you some conspiracy theories where, well, the city has nothing to do with it. And if you don't believe me, here's one of the vice presidents of Barcelona telling you himself. Now, speaking of the return to the Camp Nou, since I tell you that Barcelona are now aiming to return to October 18th, that return could be bigger than initially expected, as I explained to you in a previous video, because here's the chart. The blue area, that's the Gol Sud and the Tribuna, that's going to house 27,000 people. That's the two sections that are done constructing. Now it's just a matter of bringing up to code to get the license. But now they're saying that, well, phase 1B, which is in red, that's the other lateral side. That section plus the phase A would house 27,000 people, 45,000 people. And they're saying that this lateral section could also be done by the October 18th deadline. So Barcelona might go back to the Camp Nou with 45,000 capacity rather than 27,000 capacity, which is, of course, great news. But what I want to talk about is the statements of one of the deputy mayor for security of the city council, Albert Badge, because now he has made some statements about Barcelona's possible return to the Camp Nou by October 18th. And these statements look very promising, because this is what Albert Badge had to say. For October 18th, we're hopeful that the necessary adjustments will be made, and from a security perspective, the go-ahead can be given to partially reopen the Camp Nou. I think the minor issues that existed can be resolved. So this is, of course, very promising. Why? Because up to this point, the city was constantly saying, Barcelona saying they're going to go back by August? Yeah, that's impossible. That's not going to happen. So up to this point, the city was constantly saying, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. And now they're saying actually that this could happen, because the list of things that Barcelona need to fix to get the license, well, there's not a lot. So this, of course, looks very promising. And who knows, maybe we'll finally be back at the Camp Nou by October 18th. Whether the phase 1B will also be ready or not, we'll have to see. But at least if we're back phase 1A, that's the more important part. Now, on to the next bit of news, because Robert Lewandowski has achieved a historical feat. As you know, he scored Barcelona's winning goal against Real Sociedad in Barcelona's comeback on Sunday, where they won 2-1. And with this goal, Lewy has now scored 105 goals for Barcelona, in which he has now become top 20 scorers in the history of Barcelona. And he's only 24 goals away from becoming a top 10 scorer, which, given that he scored 42 goals last season, and now he only needs 24 to become top 10, I think that's pretty manageable. Now, let's look at the list of historical scorers in Barcelona, because, of course, in number one, the greatest ever, Lionel Messi with 672 goals. Second place, Cesar Rodriguez, 226. Luis Suarez, 195. Kubala, 193. Samuel Eto'o and Rivaldo tied with 130. Mariano Martin, 129. Patrick Kluivert, 122. Carlos Resach, 122. Josep Escola, 120. Risto Stoichkov, 117. Basora, 110. Luis Enrique, 108. Jose Antonio Saldúa, 106. Evaristo de Macedo, 105. And there he is, Robert Lewandowski, 105. Tied with Eulogio Martinez and Neymar. Robert Lewandowski, at 37 years old, he has tied the number of goals that Neymar scored at Barcelona in his prime. Absolutely crazy. And then Juan Manuel Asensi, Pedro, Ronaldinho, Vaquero, Tejada, Schuster, and Ronald Koeman. By the way, the fact that Ronald Koeman has 88 goals despite being a defender, that's actually pretty amazing. But Lewandowski, 105 goals, 16th top goal scorer in the history of Barcelona, and only 24 goals away of being top 10. Absolute insanity for the Polish striker. And now we get back to the match about Real Sociedad, because, as you know, Jules Koundé was the one who scored Barcelona's first goal. And with that, Barcelona now have 11 different goal scorers in La Liga. Ladies and gentlemen, that's insane. 11 different goal scorers. And to think that fraud Club Madrid only have one, which is Kylian Mbappe, who scored most of his goals from penalty kick. In Barcelona, we have 11 different goal scorers were even. Our center backs score. Eric Garcia, Jules Koundé, Araujo. Our center backs all score. By the way, it's been revealed that Hansi Flick has been training headers more often or more with more intensity. And now it's starting to show because Koundé, Araujo, Eric, even Lewy all scored from headers. Anyways, speaking of goal scorers, let's talk about the new talent in Barcelona's academy that's catching many eyes, and it's no other than Sama Nomoko. Sama Nomoko is a 17-year-old Malayan winger who's currently playing with Barca Athletic. He just scored his first goal with Barca Athletic, which came against Sant Andrew. Yeah, I think that's how you say it. Giving Barca Athletic their first away win of the season. Last season, Sama Nomoko was with the Juvenil B, or under-19 B team, where he scored 12 goals. Now, he was such a standout during the preseason that instead of going to the Juvenil A, that's a natural progression. You go from the under-19 B team to the under-19 A team and then to Barca Athletic. But he was such a standout during the preseason that he skipped the Juvenil A and went straight into Barca Athletic as a replacement for Jean Virgili, who, of course, was sold to Mallorca. Now, Sama Nomoko is still expected to play with the Juvenil A, but only the Youth Champions League. In fact, he played against Newcastle, and he's going to be playing against PSG. And he's someone that Barcelona signed from Cornellà. He was actually playing the 7 versus 7 football, and now he's playing, your standard 11 versus 11 football, and he's described as a lightning-quick winger. So, Sama Nomoko, of course, we're going to keep tabs on this youngster to see how his evolution goes at Barca Athletic. And speaking of PSG, since, of course, the match is right around the corner, PSG have announced 2 more injuries, and that's Kvaratskhelia and Vitinha. Both of them were subbed out against Auxerre, however you say it. Kvara was seen holding his thigh. Kvaratskhelia holding his thigh, so he was subbed out at the halftime. Vitinha at the 30th minute, he too was replaced, and it's not clear whether the 2 of them will be healthy. And of course, this joins the list of also Dembélé, Doué, João Neves, and Marquinhos. 6 very important injuries for Luis Enrique. And of course, Barcelona will be arriving without Coutinho, Gabi, Fermin, and Joan Garcia. So what a shame, because I would have really loved to see both PSG and Barcelona with their strongest 11. But nonetheless, I still think it will be a great match. Anyways, that is all for this video. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. And as always, Visca Barça.